Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Weekly for Saturday, April the 2nd, 2022. We've got a number of news items we're going to cover today. Really, news. Well, news, rumors, that kind of stuff. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. First, I wanted to thank everybody who joined us on the live this past Wednesday. Had a pretty good turnout. Talked about the trip this past March. Yeah, it's April now. And had a good time with that. Do want to appreciate everybody that has commented and watched the vlogs and the recaps and so forth. But it's time to move on with more Vegas information. Along those lines, did want to kind of brief everybody on what's ahead with the channel, because we've been alluding to some changes, the at least temporary end of the Wednesday show, and additional programming that'll be coming up, and that'll be starting this week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We will be uploading short, I would say between 2 to 4 minute videos that will talk about, yes, genuine Vegas tips and tricks. I haven't decided yet. I think we'll number them because that way I can keep track and decide when enough is enough. At Vegas Tips and Tricks number 102, maybe it'd be time to move on or just revisit all the old ones. I don't know. But so we'll be doing that a couple of times a week. Again, there'll be short, quick uploads just with my thoughts about the best ways to maximize your Las Vegas experience. So I hope you'll tune in. It won't be nearly the time investment of watching this show or even watching the other long-form things we've done over the past several years. So I hope people will enjoy that. I think it'll be fun putting it together. Also be a lot less stress on my time throughout the week. So hopefully it works out for everyone. Okay, we're going to jump into a few news stories today. We're going to start out with a couple of stories related to sports. The first of which was the official announcement that Las Vegas would be hosting, as of next November, a Formula One race. Those people maybe not so familiar with the automobile racing. Formula One is really sort of the premier worldwide sort of racing league, if you want to call it that. It's not typically been as popular in the United States, but in recent years it's kind of surged a little bit as we've seen, the IndyCar races and NASCAR kind of fade a little bit. We've started to see a little more attention paid to them. There are currently 2 venues in the United States that host Formula One races. That's Miami and Austin, Texas. Las Vegas hosted a Formula One race basically 40 years ago. In 1981 and in 1982, the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, which was mostly considered a debacle. The course itself was basically this very odd sort of counterclockwise course through the Caesars Palace parking lot. I'm not really sure exactly how to locate that, whether that would be the current locations of, say, the Augustus and the Octavius Towers. If it was in that area, I'm not really sure. To be honest, I did not dig into the details of it enough to find out. But the races were, as I said, the venue was panned, and it was also very hot, surprisingly. Now, the good thing about this race that they're planning is it will be in November, and it's supposed to be at night. They're talking about doing a 10 p.m. Race in November, so it should be significantly cooler. And speaking of significantly cooler, the course itself looks pretty neat. Yeah, neat. I use that word. It will basically start around Koval and Harmon. Apparently there's a parking lot area, or they're putting something together as a start area there. And then it will proceed down Koval. So, hey, if you want the ultimate race experience, Ellis Island, they'll come right by. They do. So they'll come down Koval all the way around until they get to the MSG Sphere thing, and then they make kind of a loop around the MSG Sphere. and then they come up around on the backside of Palazzo, and for about 2 miles or so, they will be on the Las Vegas Strip, which obviously will have to be shut down. That would be pretty entertaining, but I don't think they do that. Yeah, so they will continue from there at the Palazzo all the way down to Harmon, which of course is where the Planet Hollywood is. So you'll be going by like the Bellagio fountains, for example. It's obviously going to be a huge event. It'll bring in a lot of international visitors, a lot of race fans, and just people who are curious because like I said, Formula One racing is kind of big money, sort of Euro trash stuff. I say that in the nicest possible way, but it definitely is a scene, and it should be interesting to see how that meshes with Las Vegas. It certainly sounds like it'll be a lot better than the original Formula One course. Tickets are not yet available, and we have not set an exact date, but this is definitely coming next year to Las Vegas. Something that may or may not actually be coming to Las Vegas was an announcement made this week about a new hotel, resort, mixed-use development, and, oh, great, another arena. It's supposed to be on a 25-acre parcel right around Blue Diamond Road, which is the exit you take if you go down to the Silverton Casino. Underrated spot, by the way. Definitely check that out. It's also near sort of the intersections like I-215, I-15, that whole sort of mess down there. But, you know, a pretty underdeveloped area if you've ever driven down that way. And definitely seems like a good spot to maybe plant a new property. Yeah, this is one of those announcements that when you look at it on the surface, you're kind of like, yeah, this probably isn't going to happen. And I'm guessing it may still not happen, but there are some big names involved in this. The company that's doing it, and I got to check it out. I can never remember it. Put it on this screen. Totally forgot what it was. But the gentleman that is involved in it is a gentleman by the name of Tim Leiweke, or Leiweke, not sure how you pronounce it, who is now the CEO president of the Oak View Group. Leiweke is pretty well known as a sort of major figure in the sort of sports entertainment venue business. For many years, he was basically the lead man with AEG Group, the Anschutz Entertainment Group, which has been associated with all kinds of major events and arenas, you know, from what's now Crypto.com arena with Lakers. They have interests in England. Locally, they built the what was the Sprint Center, now the T-Mobile Center. Yeah, not to be confused with T-Mobile Arena, which brings to mind, why do we need another arena? Obviously, there's the attempt to draw an NBA team here to Las Vegas. I say here, I'm not there, but you get the idea. But even with the Golden Knights and a number of other concert events there, it still seems like there's plenty of empty dates. And you're talking about an arena that's, what, not even 5 years old. So I'm a little shaky on this one. There's definitely a guy that's got connections to money. I believe the price tag on this thing was like a $3 billion project. Could it happen? Maybe. Leiweke has been a big-time name and a big-time sort of promoter. And sometimes it seems like he has sometimes written checks that he couldn't cash, I think it's fair to say. AEG was involved in plans to do an arena way, way back, maybe 13, 14 years ago. They were supposed to appear behind Bally's. You know, that one sort of bubbled around for a few years. That was AEG. Now, Leiweke's not associated with AEG anymore. But, yeah, I mean, this could happen. On the surface of it, I was like, no, this can't happen. But it could happen because there is money. There are people that know what they're doing. But part of me still thinks this is less than a 50-50 proposition. There's a very good chance that Las Vegas could be an expansion team in the NBA. The rumors are it will be Las Vegas and Seattle if it happens. But there's no specific time frame on that happening. And I think the plans are to start construction on this thing next year, but that'll all be subject to whether or not financing can be brought to bear. And like I said, I am cautiously maybe on this thing. It certainly would be another interesting piece of Las Vegas sports, which we've seen so much of. You know, the first story, Formula One, we got the Super Bowl. Could we have another sports team, even beyond the possible Oakland A's move? And there was some news on that this week. We won't even get into that. But there you go. That could be coming to a far south Las Vegas Boulevard location in the somewhat near future. Now, this is also apparently near the sort of terminus of one of these handful of rail proposals from Southern California to Las Vegas, which again have been bouncing around for 25 years. But at least one of those is the basically the terminus, the end of that line would be very close to this resort. So take that for what it's worth. Okay. Rumors that appear to be a little more than rumors, at least a number of employees seem to have confirmed it. We've seen a number of folks on YouTube talking about it, so I will as well. Resorts World is apparently working on some kind of water park or certainly expanded pool area. Not expected to be completed any time for this season, but probably for years to come. Obviously, there's a lot of space available on that Resorts World pad that was initially supposed to be a much bigger project to begin with. So it will be interesting to see if they follow through on this. It certainly sounds like they're doing something, but it remains to be seen exactly what. There hasn't really been a water park of any kind on the Las Vegas Strip since the old Wet n Wild closed down, a location which was also has been rumored for some 10 years or so to also have an arena project. I think we can safely bury that one. In news that may interest some of our viewers, it's also heard this week that we may very shortly, like as of today, I believe, is the grand opening of the Peppermint Hippo. Some of you may remember the Peppermint Hippo as being a gentleman's club that appeared in South Park, but no, this is a real Peppermint Hippo, which is also a gentleman's club, and it may be of some interest to our viewers because it will be in the old Olympic Gardens location, which is set empty since that venue closed, I don't know, been a few years now. That was always the only gentleman's club technically on the Strip, or at least on Las Vegas Boulevard South. So it'll be interesting to see if they are able to make a go of it. My guess is they probably will. So if you're in Las Vegas and you happen to check it out, definitely leave a comment below. We'd like to know what you think about the Peppermint Hippo. Is it really the pinnacle of gentlemen's clubs in Las Vegas, or just another one? Who knows? Okay, well, I think it's going to wrap things up as far as the news this week. Said Tuesdays and Thursdays, mark your calendar, or just hit that notification bell right after you hit that subscribe button, and you'll know every time we upload another new Vegas tip or trick. All right, we're going to go ahead and shut it down for the week. We'll be back again next Saturday with another episode of Vegas Weekly. More news and nonsense from the man who brings it to you all the time. Talk to you soon. Till then, hope you have a great and lucky week. Bye-bye.